Back here, first things first, Undisputed coming up at 9:30 sharp. My girl Jenny Taft getting ready to host. What are you and the guys talking about today, Jenny?
That's me, Jenna. Thank you. Coming up on Undisputed.
I got very excited.
Love it. Thank you.
You got it.
All right. Busy show today on Undisputed. So there were some not so great reports about Kyler Murray at the Combine. Should this be a red flag for NFL teams? And is there any reason to worry about the Warriors after getting blown out last night? Plus, we've got Steven Jackson and D'Angelo Hall in studio to help us out. Undisputed coming up next. Jenna, back to you. I was trying to think of something creative to say back, but it didn't come to me. So just back to you.
Oh, it's all good. Jenny, thank you. Have a great show. Time for us to go viral. With Antonio Brown demanding a trade and looking for a change in scenery, the star wideout has also recently had a change in his appearance. He dyed his mustache blonde, and even AB can laugh at himself.
Oh, he posted this?
Of him and a walrus.
Okay.
Yeah, he posted this.
All right, since he's the one that posted this, I find it even funnier. That's well done, AB. I still don't understand the blonde mustache. Like, not since the NWO's Hulk Hogan have we seen a worse dyed blonde mustache.
The mustache period.
What'd you say?
Or the mustache period.
You're anti-mustache?
Yeah, look,
I
my
like
dad
yours.
has. Oh, that is so cool and ridiculous. You don't want to. Let's not talk facial hair, Nick.
No, that's fine.
The goatee,
it's good
I don't
for the
mind.
gooses.
The mustache.
Chris Carter rocked an epic
But why
mustache.
doesn't he have one anymore?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him.
Not in style anymore.
Well, then you should.
Listen, style guru, right over here.
Style guru.
Right here.
Yes.
You have a chunk of hair that I'm waiting to grow in right over here.
Oh,
and it
wow.
will.
That's
Once
a
puberty hits, Nick,
Wow.
when
Jenna
puberty
got
hits,
really upset about this
you are
mustache
going
comment.
to-
Go ahead.
It is going to
Listen.
come in real nice.
Wow, Jenna Wolf. Angry.
When he grows up.
It made Dusty laugh.
It made everybody laugh.
We head to the Bay now.
Do
where
we?
The Celtics did an about-face. 30 points out of Gordon Hayward last night. 19 points from Kyrie Irving. Warriors and Celtics. And the Celtics won. And they won big. 128-95. Warriors were never quite in this one. They trailed by 25 points at halftime. Not a pretty scene for Boogie Cousins. He was hit with a technical after a charge call for standing over Aaron Baines just a little bit too long. Celtics, though, they'll take the win. Here's Kyrie on just how important that win was.
Since All-Star break, even before then, we haven't been playing our best brand of basketball. So we want to come out and just put emphasis on both ends of the floor, but especially defensively. Playing here is always tough, so we wanted to come out and just make a statement. That long plane ride helped us out. I'll just say that. That long plane ride helped us out. We needed it. We needed it. It was just, we were going to get to a point where we were just going to get tired of, fighting each other, fighting in, the outside world, and it doesn't really matter. So we just want to come out here and just play basketball. This is our sanctuary, and we have to do everything to protect it. We can't let anybody infiltrate this. So
if we want to be the team that we want to be come April, you can't continue to just talk about it and expect to be able to flip a switch. At some point, these next 16 games, we gotta show it. But again, there is a subtle confidence that, we've been here before, and when the lights are bright, we show up. So there's a balance somewhere in the middle there that can't have nights like tonight, though, where a team just pounces on you and embarrasses you in your home floor.
All right, Nick, how did the Boston Celtics, who have not played great the last couple of games, who have not gotten together and gotten along as a team the last couple of days, how did they come out and beat the Warriors so handily?
So there's the on-court and the off-court element. The off-court element, I thought Kyrie talking about the plane ride was very interesting. And he talked about sitting with Danny Ainge and sitting with Brad Stevens and that helping. And it came at a time where a long 6-hour plane ride could be bad for a team. Jalen Brown had just said the situation with the Celtics was toxic. The morning they got on the plane to Boston to go to Golden State for this 4-game trip where they play all the California teams. So clearly there was maybe a kind of a cathartic situation on the plane where maybe a bit of airing of grievances. And guys, listen, for as bad as it's felt, where are we? Oh, we're going into last night, 38-26. Like, we're okay. We can still do everything we wanted to do at the beginning of the year. And then on the court, a team that they have played very well over the last 3 seasons. The Isaiah Thomas Celtics, last year's kind of put together Celtics because of the Kyrie trade and then the injuries. And this year, they're 3-3 against Golden State over the last 3 years. The only team that's been better against Golden State is Houston. So they've played this team well. They've defended Golden State well over the last few seasons. But what happened yesterday was Gordon Hayward had his best game as a Celtic. He's had a couple great games for them against the Minnesota Timberwolves, both of those games. But this was his best game as a Celtic, given the team they were playing, given what the team needed, given his efficiency, 75% from the field, hit his threes. And this is what the Celtics at their best can look like. One of their stars goes off, they are playing great defense. Guys are going good shot, great shot. They're pulling for each other. You pointed out when Gordon hit one of the threes, Kyrie skipped up the floor. Al Horford jumped off the bench celebrating because Gordon Hayward has been the elephant in the room. A guy who's getting starter-type minutes, fringe starter minutes, 27 minutes a game, and has not been producing at all, but people don't want to blame him for it because of the injury. When he plays well, when he shoots 50% from the field, they're 18-2. They are a different team when he plays well, and this was his best game as a Celtic.
And they're having fun. And that's the one thing that you said it didn't look like they were doing. How could they not have fun doing the thing they've always had fun doing? And last night, and they talked about it on that plane ride, we have to go back to falling in love with the sport of basketball again.
I mean, very seldom have I ever seen, and I've seen a lot of athletes in crisis where they have tremendous things going on off the court, either being financially, family, legal troubles, things that they are battling with. But when they get on the court or on the field, that is their safe spot. That's where they thrive. I know that when I had a lot of things going on in my life, when I got on the field, that was the point where I was the most comfortable, because that was also the point I didn't have to think about all the other things. I think what we're going through now in basketball is very, very rare. Some of the things we hear from KD and Kyrie, where they are saying they're not even happy playing the game that they, as kids, their dreams were about being in the NBA. We just haven't seen that. So it was nice that he talked about the plane ride. He was nice that he let us in a little bit on some of those frank conversations that you have to have late in the season. You got 15 to 20 games. Like, let's commit to winning these last 15 games. What will we lose by doing that? This is the only time this team is going to be together. What's going to happen in free agency is going to happen. What's going to happen as far as people's contracts is going to happen, but getting everyone to buy in. So for me, that's the thing that happened more than X's and O's. They took the court as a different basketball team. Now, can they continue that? I know Gordon Hayward can continue to play at that level, but the Celtics can continue to play at a high level if everyone buys in.
And it really meant something to you that Kyrie pointed out, as Jenna was alluding to, that for him, basketball has been his sanctuary. He got away from that. And then yesterday, there was a great interview right after the game with Caron Butler, because it was a players-only broadcast where he got a lot out of Kyrie, I think probably because they have that player bond. And Kyrie seemed happy. Now, Kyrie can go hot and cold within a day emotionally, but you pushed back strong yesterday on some of the things Kyrie, almost the woe is me, my life is so tough, when he has ostensibly all these great things going for him. The Celtics, it was almost a microcosm for the Celtics as a team, because, oh, woe is the Boston Celtics. They're not living up to the expectations. Okay, listen, you're firmly in the playoffs. You are going to have one of the best coaches in the playoffs, one of the deepest rosters in the playoffs. If you guys can get out of your own way, and it's not being worried about, well, how is this going to affect my free agency? How is this going to affect my contract? How is this going to affect how I'm viewed as a brand globally? We know the Celtics have enormous talent. And when Gordon Hayward plays like this, their best is as good as almost anybody's best. And they showed it oddly. If you watch the game Sunday against Houston, they were getting blown out, down by 28. They had a flurry there where they looked like the defense of last year. They've been a good defense this year. Last year, they were superb. That defense that showed up for parts of the fourth quarter against Houston showed up for the entirety of the game against Golden State. That is them at their core, at at their identity. A great defensive team with 5 guys on the court at all times that are all triple threats. Shoot, dribble, pass, they can all do it. Can they get back to that before the playoffs begin?
So let's talk about this now from Golden State's perspective. You heard Steph Curry say we can't just flip a switch and all of a sudden we're back to the team that everybody thought we have and living up to our reputation. We have to fix some fundamental things on our team. We have to up that intensity. Does this Golden State team really have flaws on it right now?
They do have flaws. They're not playing basketball on the level offensively and defensively what we expect. Now, we expected they couldn't be as good with Boogie Cousins on the defensive end, but we didn't think that he would affect them from a negative standpoint on the offensive end. And he has had a negative influence on them. But also, what were we measuring that against? The Warriors have played some of the best basketball over the last 3 to 4 years in the history of the NBA. That had to come down. There's a reason why teams have not made it to 5 straight finals since the
Russell Celtics
in the 60s. Year after year after year, there's an effect. We saw it with Michael Jordan. We saw it with other players. And I believe keeping their interest during the regular season, that's part of them playing in so many big games. All they got to do is get to the playoffs, because I believe they will be self-motivated once they get to the playoffs, because that's when they actually have the chance to three-peat.
Well, the difference this year between the swoon right now and last year when they went 3-7, because one of our producers, Jamila, brought this up to me before the show. She said, didn't they go through something similar last year where they reeled off and we know that the Rockets are the team that has circled them, the team that has given them the most trouble. The only team over the last 3 years that has a winning record against the Warriors has a winning record against the Warriors over the last 2 years. Since Durant's been there, pick any sample size, the Rockets have a winning record. The Rockets will pick and roll you to death. They will. Steph's going to be out there. If Boogie's out there, they will try to get not just one of them, but both of them involved in a pick and roll. And what is so disappointing if you're a Warriors fan in regards to Boogie is that 5-man lineup of 5 All-Stars, Draymond, Boogie, Steph, Clay, KD, when those 5 guys have been on the court, they have been outscored by their opponent. When those 4 guys have been on the court minus Boogie, they are outscoring their opponent by a dozen points per 100 possessions. So it's not that Boogie has not been a positive. He has been thus far a massive negative. And I don't know, how he will react if by the time they get along to the postseason in the 2nd-round series against Oklahoma City, when all of a sudden you could lose, if they decide they've got to make the tough choice of, Boogie, you got to sit down, man. Because I don't think
Would they wait that long?
Well, I think they are going to try as long as possible to see if they can make it work, because Boogie didn't just take less money to come there to not play in big playoff games when he's never played in a playoff game in his entire NBA career.
His rehab was about getting to a certain point, getting him comfortable, getting him acclimated to being part of this team. Then once he got the minutes restriction removed from him and you start starting him, you already created a problem right there. Boogie and him deciding to come here, they said, once you're healthy, we're going to put you in the starting lineup, because he's still trying to get a max contract for next year. So you're going to have a hard time because you've already started him. And right now, they have a hard time because sometime in the 4th quarter, he's not playing in the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game. And he has a problem with that. So I expect that to continue. What if they get in one of these series, even if they're winning the series? If he's not playing those minutes at critical junctures of the ball game, I believe there's going to be an issue.
And the other element is the Warriors, while it's been offense, for all their championship teams, they've been great defensively. Last year was their worst year defensively, and they're still very good defensively. They are not the same defense, and Draymond Green, who's been the catalyst of all of it, he is clear. He's having his worst year in 5 years offensively, and defensively, he's very, very good, but he's not Defensive Player of the Year like he once was, and you're seeing that. Since Boogie's been out there, they've been really bad, not only when Boogie's on the court, but when Draymond's on the court. Steph, Clay, and KD been doing their part.
And Draymond has a toe injury that has affected him. And it's might affect him not only physically, but his overall cardio. How much can he do when they're not playing games?
If it's just a lack of focus and, late season malaise, then on Friday night when they play the Denver Nuggets with the 1 seed on the line at Oracle, they'll blow them out. If Denver goes to Oracle and